So here we go. We are going to take a look at this problem and find the relative extrema. Remember, relative extrema is looking for relative maxes and relative mins. So you're the largest or smallest guy in your neighborhood. We had complicated definitions for that, but really it's just saying you're the biggest y value around, you're a max. If you're the smallest y value guy around, then you're a min. So to do that, we're going to use the first derivative test in a sign chart. So we're going to take the first derivative. X cubed gives us 3x squared, minus 3x squared gives us minus 6x. This was printed out using the TestGen software, so the exponents sort of float down. Then we set that derivative equal to 0, or look where it's undefined. This guy is never undefined because he's a polynomial, so we set him equal to 0. And I always go ahead and factor right away instead of rewriting him and then factoring. The GCF is 3x. 3x times x is 3x squared minus 2. Gives you 3x times minus 2 is minus 6x, so that works. By the 0 property, 3x is 0, or x is 0. X minus 2 is 0, which is x is 2. And these are the CVs, the critical values. It is okay if you skip this step, but you've got to write this one. I know not all of you write this guy where you actually set him equal to 0. I'm okay with that if you can just pull them off. Once you have that, you're going to set up your number line, and we're going to label it as the first derivative, and then sketch a number line, and put your critical values on there. Once you have those critical values on there, now you're going to pick test values to test each interval. You pick any number within those intervals. We always pick integers because they're easier to substitute. We do substitute into the first derivative. So at -1, we're using this guy. 3 times -1 squared is 3, minus 6 times -1 is positive 6, so this guy is positive. If you need to, you can write those numbers underneath. Substitute a 1 into the first derivative. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 6 times 1 is minus 6. That gives you a negative number. And then over here at 3, and I'm substituting in here, right? I'm going through this quickly. 3 squared is 9 times 3 is 27. Minus 6 times 3, minus 18. That's a positive number. Remember, we don't care whether we actually know the number. We only want to know whether it's positive or negative. So this guy is increasing till he gets to 0, decreasing in the middle interval, and then increasing again in that last one. What that gives us is here we have a relative max, and here we have a relative min. We need to write our solutions as a sentence, but first we need those y values. So let's go get those y values. We're going to find f of 0 for the max, and we're going to find f of 2 for the min. So you substitute 0 all the way up into this function because it's the original one. You get 0, 0, 1, so you get 1. That's the point then, 0, 1. Then we substitute 2 into this original as well. 2 cubed is 8, minus 3 times 2 squared, that's 3 times 4 is 12, so negative 12, 8 minus 12 plus 1, and you end up getting negative 3. You can use your calculator for that, right? You don't have to actually write that out. Now we need our solutions. We have a relative max of, put the y value, 1 when x is 0, and a relative min of, write as y value, negative 3 when x equals 2. That, negative, at the 2. Because, and the reason why we pull these values off, here, this is the relative max. It occurs at 0. What's his y value? We found it to be positive 1. So there's a relative max of the y value, which is 1, when x is that x value, which is 0. And then for this guy, he's a relative min. Put a 2 in, when you put a 2 into, again, the original function, then you end up getting a -3. So we have a relative min, because he goes like this, a relative min at 2, but the y value is going to be -3. Yes, sir.
If we don't write the sentence, are we going to lose points?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna say, should we, for the test, write the sentence or write the?
Yes, you have to write those sentences or you will lose points.